Hi, everybody. We're very excited to welcome you to our inaugural rocket fuel from Brandjectory on this first day of summer 2023, June 21st. With me today are my co-founding partners, Tom Malengo and Susan Bryanton. And we've got a great, very exciting event. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. All right. Let me just tell you a little bit about rocket fuel and Brandjectory before we get started. Brandjectory is a platform that helps to connect early stage CPG founders and CPG investors. We do this through a combination of both an online platform and an offline virtual facilitated meetings. Excuse me. Our 4 pillars are network, content, resources, and process. We are focused specifically on CPG and helping founders to build an investable CPG business and help them navigate the capital raise process, and then connect them to best fit CPG investors. We are a subscription service, nice and simple. We do not take a commission or a percentage of the raise. And today we've got about 140 founders, seed to Series A on our platform, and about 700 CPG investors in our network. And today we're very excited to offer our first rocket fuel session, where we have one investor from our network who has selected 5 specific brands who he would like to hear pitch. And at the end of the session, after all pitches are complete, he will then choose one whom he will potentially enter into a negotiation with. So we're very excited to welcome all of the founders today and our investor, and I'm happy to introduce them to you now. Our presenting founders are Kyle Poole, CEO of New Motion Beverages and Embolden Beer Company. The company makes a variety of craft beer and better-for-you beverages like hard sparkling tea, cocktail-inspired hard seltzer, and hard kombucha. Second up will be Smari Esmondson, founder and CEO of Vij, who is the parent company of a brand new barley malt to the market. Our third presenter will be Paul Geller, founder and CEO of Bas, an herbal super liqueur. Fourth up will be Jason McAlpin, founder and CEO of Dio. Dio is enhanced sparkling water with premium functional ingredients and complex flavors. And closing out the round will be Stephanie Kriebel, CEO and co-founder of OMG Pretzels, which are gourmet, seasoned, crunchy sourdough pretzel nuggets. We're very excited for our panel of founders who will be pitching today. And I'm very excited to introduce our investor who will be listening to the pitches and considering them today, Paul Beaupre, who is an investor, an advisor, a mentor, a board member, and who spent 18 years at Coca-Cola. With that, I'm going to hand it over to my partner, Tom, to take it from here.
Hi, everyone. We're happy to be here. We're going to get Paul on screen here. Paul, you should be able to join us, and we'd like to start with you introducing yourself.
There we go. Hey, good afternoon.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
A little bit about yourself, Paul, so everybody knows.
Yeah, sure. So Michael hit on a few of the things. I actually spent a little over 25 years in the Coke system. I worked in a lot of brands and a lot of functions. Wound up going pretty deep on waters with Dasani and Energies as we partner with Monster Energy. Finished the last few years at Coke with their venturing and emerging brand group. Had brands like Honest Tea and Zico Coconut Water. And for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been working with much smaller early stage companies, ready to drink cocktail space. I helped launch a brand with the founders called Tip Top Cocktails. And more recently, I was working in the electrolyte rapid rehydration business for a few months on BioLite. But I participate in a lot of early stage founder startup committees and incubators, just like Brandjectory. I work in SKU, TIG, and I've started working with Startup CPG to do some stuff in Atlanta, a little bit the way Richard Riccardi has done down in Dallas. So really glad to be here. I do some investing in those organizations, brands that participate in them, as well as some other venture capital firms. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. And now we're going to bring on our first person who is going to pitch to you, and that is going to be Kyle Poole of New Motion Beverages and Emboldened Beer. And as soon as Kyle gets on the screen, we'll start Kyle's time and he can share his screen and his pitch. Hello, Kyle. Kyle, you are on mute at the moment. There we go. Hi, Kyle. Thank you for being here. Are you ready?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Let me share my screen here and get
Share your
started.
screen, and as soon as your screen shares, I will start your timer. You have 7 minutes.
Great. All right. Can you see my screen?
It's a blank screen. There we go.
Yes, we can.
All right. Okay. All right. My name is Kyle Poole. I'm the CEO of two exciting brands under one roof, New Motion Beverages and Emboldened Beer Company. We offer craft alcoholic beverages for the modern conscious consumer with a thirst for quality. Consumers have a growing desire for diversity, inclusion, and access in craft alcohol, and we embody the evolution of the craft beverage industry by offering a variety of craft beer and hard tea for conscious consumers that have a thirst for craft culture and community. We like to say we offer flavor for every mood and functionality for every lifestyle for the future of craft alcohol through our products in craft beer and hard sparkling tea, as well as cocktail-inspired hard seltzers and hard kombucha. Local craft beer is stronger than ever, growing 5% in 2022, and hard tea is the next big category in flavored malt beverage per Nielsen and IRI, with a 46% projected growth rate over the next few years. All of this allows us to project a $10 to $15 million obtainable market by 2027 based on our growth. And we've generated over $1 million in trailing 12-month revenue and experienced a combined 20% year-over-year growth. This totals a little over 65,000 gallons worth of product in the last 12 months. We built a great foundation with Emboldened Beer Company and a proof of concept with New Motion Beverages through our hard sparkling tea product categories. We generate revenue a couple different ways: through a brick and mortar tasting room location, through draft and packaged products to go, with margins ranging from 94 to 98% or 74 to 98%, and distribution with keg and packaged products with margins from 48 to 81%. We've been in over 1,300 retail locations in the last 12 months in partnership with our distributor, Scout Distribution, in Southern California and Arizona. We've got over 400 recurring accounts on a monthly basis. And we just, as of last month, got Trader Joe's to authorize 2 of our products in 100 stores in Southern California. We also just recently secured 8 placements throughout locations in LAX Airport, and we just submitted for a Whole Foods promotion to start in August 2023. And we're also in discussion with regional Costco buyers for an IPA mix pack in the San Diego region. We're building a cult following, connecting digitally with our audience through our over 18,000 direct Instagram audience. We've got over 1,700 monthly email subscribers, as well as an SEO optimized website and e-commerce platform. Connecting directly with our consumers, putting liquid to lips, is a best way that we can build our brand recognition. We do this through beverage tastings at major retailers, tab takeovers and events at influencer accounts, and collaborations with established and diverse brands, as well as special event product placement. We've got some of the brands that we've collaborated with: Revels Group Music, Interscope Records. Last year, we sponsored the Dreamville record label writing camp for the production of the Creed 3 soundtrack. We've had 90 Day Fiancé and Married at First Sight filming at our tasting room. We're also in discussions with the San Diego Loyal to be their hard tea sponsor, and we're partners with the San Diego Tourism Authority, just to name a few. Our brick and mortar tasting room location has accounted for about 38% of our gross revenue in the last 12 months. And we've had over 17,000 customer interactions in the past 12 months with 35% monthly return rate. This allows us to have a diverse selection of beverages on tap for R&D and customer engagement. And it also serves as our e-commerce hub for direct fulfillment consumer sales. This is just a few members of our team. I'm Kyle Poole, CEO and CFO. My background is 5 years at executive management at LAX Airport. My partner, Andy Sist, had 10 years at Macy's Corporate. Our chief brewing officer, Cody Morris, was the director of Mission Brewery, which is a very large brewery here in San Diego. He also helped develop the initial product offerings for Ashland Hard Seltzer. And our sales manager has been in the industry. He was with a wine distributor and was the sales manager at Mission Brewery also for 5 years. We developed some great industry relationships here in San Diego and have some great mentors here at the bottom. Chris Bradley is the CEO of Ballast Point Brewing Company. It's a top 20 brewery in the US. Jeff Hansen's the CEO of Scott Distribution, Harlan Brewing Company. And he was previously the head of sales at St. Archer. Wes Van de Voort is currently the vice president of Great Frontier Holdings, which is now the third largest craft alcohol producer on the West Coast. It currently houses Ashland Hard Seltzer and Ninkasi Brewing Company, among others. And Phil McNitt, the VP of Scout Distribution, was the head of sales at Modern Times Beer. This is our plan for growth over the next few years. We've built a great foundation and team to support that. We're looking to grow from our kind of current 1,300 points of distribution to 1,800 this year and up to 9,000 points of distribution by 2027, generating revenue around $8 million. And we're looking to become profitable in the next year. So we're seeking $1 million to invest in our growth and support our success. Looking to really invest in distribution and sales growth, adding key territory reps to grow points of distribution, adding to our demo team to drive sampling and grow brand awareness, adding to our grocery chain placements through working with a sales director to grow points of distribution and grow brand awareness and really drive point of sale penetration. We're also looking to invest in e-commerce growth and build out our fulfillment capabilities and leverage our optimized website to add this revenue generating opportunity. We're going to support that through marketing and PR, building on our grassroots following, continuing to lead into events and connections that we've made, and then adding digital advertising. We're looking to also increase production capabilities to grow. We have some runway with our current facility, but we have the ability to keep up with demand. And we also have an adjacent 5,000 square foot unit that we're able to acquire and expand into. We'll also be looking to expand our current brick and mortar tasting room facilities, operations, and hours to continue to take advantage of our highest profit margin opportunity in-house. Thank you, and we hope you'll get in motion with us.
Right. Awesome. So Tom or Michael, I've got about 5 minutes to ask some questions.
You got 5 minutes.
Okay, keep me on time too. Don't let me run over. I want to be respectful of other people's time. So Kyle, I had a chance to try a lot of your products. My son and I and my wife and I tried many of the beers you had sent and several of the hard sparkling teas, and they're really well crafted. There wasn't one we had that I just thought like was off or needed tweaking. The hard teas especially surprised me, like how unique and how flavorful and how kind of sessionable they were. So great job on your formulations and the care you guys put into the products. Tell me a little bit more about the goals for the company, the longer term. You know, do you want to be acquired? Do you want to run this for generations and turn it over to people's kids? Something in between. Tell me about the plans, the perfect world.
Yeah, I mean, in the perfect world, we are looking for a long-term acquisition. I think, it kind of does feel like it would be somewhere in between because we know that, acquisitions are hard to come by, and we want to grow this sustainably and profitably to a point of exit. So we're planning on running this for as long as it takes and continuing to lean in our craft until we find the right partners. Okay, great. You had broken out gross margin by category and route to market type. Does it sum up to about 50% or in that range if you add them all together and gave a gross profit margin average? Yeah, so that is average around 50% because we are doing a lot more and especially projected to do a lot more packaged product and distribution. So that's going to be our majority of our product as we continue to grow, and that is around the 50-55% range. So cool. And that's it. Are you projecting profits next year? We are, yeah, we are, with the Trader Joe's opportunity that we just expanded on, that's going to be, over the next 4 to 6 months and continue based on rate of sale, but we have a great relationship with the buyer. That alone is going to increase our revenue this year by about 20%. And we're getting to pretty close to a point of break even. So we're looking to get to profitability in the next year.
That's great. And you've got two really distinct lines here with the beer and the hard teas. Can you tell me a little bit about the growth rates and the consumer and, where the big bet would be, or is it going to be kind of a balanced growth approach across the lines?
It'll be a little bit of a balanced growth approach. We feel like we've built a great foundation with Embolden Beer Company. We're in San Diego. It's really one of the meccas of craft beer in the U.S. And local craft beer is still strong and growing. But the bet for us is really the hard sparkling tea category. There's not that many players in the market. The twisted tea is the behemoth in the market, but there's only a handful, and we have a very different and differentiated product from those, as you could tell. And so we really want to lean into getting that product in front of the right consumers through chain authorizations and through the correct packaging type and format that they're used to drinking those in. So, currently our biggest customer on that end is actually Disneyland. They go through, like, in one location, we're doing over almost 2 cases a day. And so we've got a handful of Total Wines and Disneyland and some other great accounts that we've really got some traction in, and we're looking to lean into that. Yeah.
And then my last question is, what are your biggest challenges or biggest challenge, just headlines, because I think we're going to run out of time here.
Yeah, our biggest challenges right now is just being able to lean into our sales growth and expand on our grassroots marketing. We've really had a shoestring budget, and we want to lean into that and add to it and take advantage of the collaboration opportunities and everything that we've kind of done up to this point, but really be able to lean into it and get the word out to grow brand awareness.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, great job. I mean, your presentation was really tight. Your products are great. Looks like you've got a team of professionals. You may want to add some diversity to your team a little bit. Looks like a lot of guys that look like you, but your network looks really strong too. It looks like you got some seasoned professionals in there. So hats off to you for that.
Yeah, thank you. And we do actually also have a couple of other partners that didn't put on the deck, but we do have a couple of women co-founders as well. So
good to know. Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Kyle.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Kyle, great job. Thank you so much. Paul, thanks for some great questions and insights there. I hope the other founders who are on the line can take some value from each of those comments. So with that, we're going to move on to contestant number 2, which is Smari Edmondson. I'm going to ask Michael to go ahead and promote him up.
I just did.
Okay. Smari, it's your turn. You're going to have 7 minutes to pitch to Paul. And it's time for you to get started as soon as you share your screen. Welcome, Smari. Always good to see you.
Thank you. Likewise, thanks so much. So sharing my screen right now.
There you go.
All right, you guys could be able to see that. Perfect. So I'm Snorri, and I'm the founder and CEO of Big Foods, and we are launching the world's most environmentally friendly vegan protein powders made from upcycled barley. Protein powders need a reboot. They're full of stuff that's not good for you. They fall flat on flavor and texture. They're tough on animals and the planet. These reviews are for the top-selling protein powder on Amazon, which has over 2,600 one-star reviews. What if there was a healthy, delicious, and creamy vegan protein powder, one that's made with upcycled ingredients? And this is Freya, our first product. Freya is a premium, nutrient-dense protein powder that's loaded with minerals, phytochemicals, and all 9 amino acids in a highly bioavailable format. Freya is the world's only protein powder utilizing regenerative barley. And the protein powder industry is currently valued at nearly $22 billion worldwide and is expected to more than double by 2030. About 75% of the market are animal-based products with all the associated environmental and ethical concerns. We're targeting the 3 fastest growing segments: vegan protein, millennials, and e-commerce. And consumers care about the planet. Food systems are responsible for 34% of all human-caused greenhouse gas emissions. 62% of US consumers are willing to pay more for a product that fights food waste, and 83% of them would always pick a brand with a better record of sustainability. And we use barley for its remarkable health benefits. Barley is the original super grain and is one of the healthiest grains available. And earlier we touched on the topic of phytochemicals, so let's dive a little deeper and take barley as an example. Barley is a powerhouse when it comes to these health-boosting compounds. We're talking about phenolic acids, flavonoids, phytosterols, and tocols. And here's the cool part. Each of these compounds has a role to play. And as a team, they act as antioxidants, they help fight inflammation, and they even tackle lowering levels of what we call LDL, the bad kind of cholesterol. So it's pretty impressive for a humble grain like barley. And we do more than just take animals off the plate. Our primary ingredient is the underutilized brewer's spent grain, a substantial resource otherwise destined for landfills or animal feed. By tapping into this often wasted byproduct, Freya has become the most eco-friendly protein powder available, pioneering a revolutionary sustainable approach to nutrition. And Freya is for older millennials and Gen X. Both groups have more disposable income than other generations, and a lot of them have a newfound focus on health and longevity. Our target market is women, 40 to 60 years old, and a lot of them report eating more protein in order to prevent weight gain. Despite their size and influence, the group is currently underserved in the market. And within women, we focus on flexitarians and omnivores who make up a greater percentage of the market than vegan and vegetarians. We believe this is the key to growing sales in the plant-based category. And I was born and raised in Iceland, and I moved to the US at the age of 20 with everything I owned in 2 suitcases. I went to university in Southern California, and I graduated with a BA in photography. Afterwards, I became a very successful advertising photographer with my pictures on billboards all over the country and in magazines such as Vogue and Rolling Stone. And I've been in food for a decade now, and I'm just as passionate about it today as I was on day one. I launched 2 products to date, and I know what's required to successfully launch Big and Freya. And I think it goes to show the strength of the opportunity that I was able to pull together a team of absolute superstars to help launch Freya. We have folks that have built companies to an exit, folks that excel in production, in finance, in branding, and in marketing. And our plan is to start with e-commerce in order to maintain high margins. From there, we'll enter the natural channel, followed by conventional and club. We see this as an international play and plan to expand to Europe in year 5. And Big started as a plant-based milk company, but the more we played with the raw ingredient, we realized that there was an incredible opportunity to start with protein powders. That business needs less cash to start and margins are very high. And we do believe the milk business is a significantly bigger play, and the plan is to have the protein powders generate the startup funds for that and to launch a line of barley milks in year 2. To date, we have finalized development of our plant-based milks and are nearly done with the protein powders. We secured supply chain and identified co-manufacturing. We've identified the launch team and are ready to launch as soon as we secure the necessary funding. And the feedback from our trial customers has been nothing short of amazing. We see a path towards profitability in year 3. Top-line revenue is at $750,000 in year 1, to go into just over $37 million in year 5. And we are raising a $500,000 convertible note seed round. Funds will be used to complete R&D, product development, and to launch Freya protein direct to consumers. So Big is an impact-driven startup, and you see some of our future certifications here. Our goal really is to make as big of an impact as possible. And that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Smari. Paul, now it's going to turn to you to ask questions. So please go ahead.
Great. Thanks, Samari. I had a chance to try your chocolate. The samples that you sent, they were great. I just mixed them with water. Tasted delicious. I didn't realize how strong an eco impact you had on your production, your upcycled, your spent grain, your barley. What does the name mean? And have you launched other products? I saw maybe in your history some other looking products that looked like drinkables or things you'd eat out of a cup with a spoon.
Yeah, so we launched, so my first kind of entry into CPG was a line of organic Icelandic yogurt that was called Smári. We were in the market for several years. And then just before COVID, actually, I launched a high protein, high caffeine functional coffee drink. We launched that in 2019, summer of 2019. grew really fast until March 2020. COVID hit, and we never recovered from that. And so and to answer your first question, what does the name mean? So Big, which is the name of the company, and Big was the original name that we're thinking of for the product, means barley in Icelandic. So what I liked about that is kind of the English connotation, it's big. And Freya, which is the name that we have settled on for the product. Freya is the Nordic goddess of fertility. She was a kind of one of the goddesses warriors. She is all about being fierce, about being independent. And so we think that kind of Freya represents kind of the modern woman, who is our target market.
That's great. And what's the primary use occasion for the protein powders and like the chocolate Freya that I had?
So this can be, so it's 20 grams of protein. This can be as a meal replacement. You can have this as a snack, or it can replace your lunch. You can do this pre-workout, post-workout. Our targeting is more towards people that want to be healthy rather than people that are looking like to bulk up. Women generally, they want protein to keep them leaner, to kind of help them with menopause and help them with this aging, especially the women 40 to 60 years old. And so it is a delicious way to get more healthy protein into your diet.
Oh, that's great. And what was I going to ask? You've launched a few products before. It seems more food and beverage versus powder. Do you have a sense of what margins will look like and when profitability would come in the life cycle? I mean, it may have been in a chart, but I think we went past it kind of quickly.
Yeah, so we should be profitable in year 3. Our gross margins or our overall margins are 44 and 45%. They start at 45 in year 1, 45 in year 2, 46 in year 3, and then they go down to 45 and 44. And the reason they go down is because the milks are lower margin than the protein powders. And so as the milk becomes a bigger part of the business, they kind of stabilize at around 44%.
Yeah. And between the milk and the Freya, who would be the primary competitors, the people that you think are doing at least the best job out there right now? Maybe not as good as what you're offering, but directionally something you like and think is attractive.
For the protein powders, Orgain is the biggest seller on Amazon, and they it is a vegan protein powder. It is not complete protein like ours is, meaning that it does not have all the 9 amino acids. And I think when it comes to mixability and when it comes to flavor, we are heads and shoulders above what they can offer. And then vegan protein powders are generally lower environmental impact than animal-based, and so Orgain is part of that. But ours being upcycled, our environmental impact is significantly less. And then when you look at the milks, Oatly is certainly a brand that has done incredibly well in marketing their oat milk. So that would be a competition. Silk Soy is another one. Almond milks, do very well in vegan milks.
Okay. Great. Thanks. I think, is the milk going to be malt based as well?
Barley based, yes. So the milk is the main ingredient in the milk.
Sorry.
Yes, that's the same upcycled barley. And so we started as a milk company, and then we kind of realized that we would need our funding. We need much less funding if we started with protein powders, and so that's kind of play with that is to generate cash in the beginning, become profitable, and then launch the milk.
Yeah, I think there is one going through Molson Coors, isn't there? In LA Libations, do they have a barley-based milk? I think it tastes great too.
Yeah, they do have a barley-based milk. It is not upcycled like ours is.
Gotcha.
We are at time, folks. So I'm going to thank Smari for a great presentation. Good to see Smari all the time. And we are going to introduce our next founder, which is
Paul.
Paul Geller, sorry, is Paul. And I think Michael's going to promote him here.
He's on his way.
Okay. All right. I was looking for him to promote him. Hi, Paul, welcome. And you're going to be on the clock for 7 minutes as soon as you're ready to go with your presentation. Paul, you're on mute and you should share your camera. Thank you, Paul.
You guys see me now?
I can hear you. I can't see you.
See your image.
There you go.
All
Sorry
right.
Good
about
to
that.
see you. All right, I'm going to go off here, and Paul, you're on.
My name is Paul Geller. I'm the founder and CEO of Boss Boss, the spirit of Ibiza. Boss Boss is a lower ABV herbal spirit from an island with an eclectic history. Its herbaceous origins date back to cloistered monks living in the Spanish Isles during the 16th century. The monastic pedigree allows us to speak to the spiritual aspects of spirits with its herbal ingredients and connection to ceremony. There are not many spirits that can authentically draw their heritage directly from a spiritual sect as we can. So we speak with authority to customers that want to treat their mind, body, and soul kindly, but don't want to give up on the social attributes of traditional spirits. To understand what makes Boss Boss so special, you need to have a little more than a superficial understanding of the island from which it hails. Ibiza has a reputation as a party island, but the truth is so much more fascinating. Even today, the mega clubs of lore reside in just a small corner of the island. But Ibiza has played home to every major Western religion at one time or another. Romans, Arabs, Catalans, and Catholics all called it home. In the 1970s, the peace movement arrived when the island gained its reputation as a bohemian vacation destination. Bob Marley, Joni Mitchell, Nico and the Velvet Underground all worked and played there. And now for its third act, Ibiza is having a bit of a spiritual renaissance. Seekers from across the globe are choosing Ibiza not for its famous party scene, but for the holistic enclaves in the West and the North. Iconic wellness brands like The Standard and Six Senses just opened their first properties on the island to rave reviews and sellout nights. The spirit of Ibiza is in everything we do. And just as Ibiza is having its third wave, we launch Boss Boss. Boss Boss is the only premium member of the very exclusive Yerbas category. I mentioned that its origins date back to cloistered monks in the 16th century. Using a base of star anise, the monks would macerate the wild herbs indigenous to the island and create a medicinal tonic that moonlit as a ceremonial enhancement. Since then, it's been protected by a handful of families on the island for more than 400 years. At 25% ABV, it's a little more than your average ceremonial party starter, but it goes down easy because all the herbs, fruits, and spices in Boss Boss are known for their digestive support properties. Locals drink it in the afternoon in their coffee or to relax after a hot day's work. Visitors sip it poolside. In Miami, they're serving Boss Boss as the base spirit in their Negronis and mojitos. It replaces rum, bourbon, and even chartreuse in mixed drinks, rosé and cava poolside, tequila and mezcal for sipping occasions. And that versatility is speeding its adoption. It's that historic authenticity, though, that allows us to speak to conscious consumers in North America and abroad, but not just any conscious consumer. It's a really special, rapidly growing subsegment of millennials and Gen Zs called the nuns, N-O-N-E-S. The nuns believe in spirituality, but don't affiliate religiously. They care about what they put into their bodies, but still enjoy the community building aspects of alcoholic spirits. Think Tulum, Burning Man, yogis, Lisbon, wellness is a choice. You know the type. You just might not know that they had a name. It would be fair to say that speaking to the nuns is a bit of a specialty for me. You see, I left national campaign politics in 2016, but I started developing Boss Boss in 2019. In that 3-year gap, I had a day job. I was the first global chief marketing officer for a spiritual tradition called Kabbalah. During that time, I oversaw the reinvigoration of the 100-year-old organization known for its affiliation with A-list celebrities and unicorn entrepreneurs. We rebuilt that community to over 1 million members, comprised of none other than the nuns. That's where I learned to speak to the high-earning creative consumer that dabbles in spirituality. As the vanguard of a new category, we had a lot of educating to do when we brought it to market in the end of 2021, but our go-to-market was built from a simple idea: connection. We believe in the power of connection, and we believe that the spirit of Ibiza plays an important role in connection, both a spiritual connection, the ceremony perhaps, and the fun-loving side of the island, the celebration. We bridge the gap between the wellness enthusiast and the Burning Man archetype by focusing on a very specific drinking occasion. Boss Boss owns the dinner party. At the dinner party, we're creating more Boss Boss fans with each bottle and capitalizing on the word of mouth of those cultural explorers and urban tastemakers who love the easy taste, the herbal ingredients, and the ceremonial history. The spirit of Ibiza turns every meal into a ceremony and every ceremony into a celebration. When we launched, we created a best-in-class digital experience using our real-world scarcity as leverage. Our first 2 batches took 3 months to sell. We dropped our 3rd batch on May 30th, and we sold out our reservations in under 6 hours. For our on-premise campaigns, we used mixologists as our messengers, like Rodrigo here from Maria in Miami. And we partnered with amazing institutions in food and hospitality, like our Michelin-rated partners, Four Seasons Surfside and Doya, among many others. We went above and beyond in our sustainability initiatives, from our hand-harvested ingredients to our unique freshness capsules made from plant-based starches, making them compostable. For us, it's not just a selling point, it's a moral imperative. This has earned us notoriety from media institutions like the New York Times and Thrillist, among a number of others, and it's fueled surprising demand for an otherwise unknown spirit category. With a relatively small media spend, we created loyal customers, some ordering more than once a month. We won 30 awards, but we tend to focus on our 12 gold medals, 2 double golds, and a Consumer Choice Award. We were just named Food and Beverage Magazine's editor's top pick for May of 2023. And in the same month, we won InvestBev's Sprout Adult Beverage Accelerator. For being such a young introduction to the market, we're well on our way to profitability and cash flow break even within the next year. The ease of accessibility to our ready-made markets in Europe and our luxury margins impervious to competitive pricing pressure make our unit economics relatively enviable. And our timing couldn't be better. While Ibiza is having a renaissance all its own, there's a new vacancy in the herbal space with the diminishing presence of chartreuse. Boss Boss is a viable replacement for chartreuse on the back bar, and consumers are pleasantly surprised by its more accessible taste profile. So we're raising funding to rapidly expand our footprint and create additional expressions. Like I said, we just won the InvestBev Adult Beverage Accelerator, and we're now one of their portfolio companies. They're doing diligence and they're happy to vouch. We're excited to work with experienced CPG and DTC investors. And if that's you, let's talk about it. If not, go reserve a bottle anyway.
Awesome. Great. Thanks a lot, Paul. I had a chance. Thanks for sending me a bottle from batch 1. I've been following you a little bit on social media and know that, you guys been working with BevStrat and Brian and Giuseppe really know what they're doing. So that's nice. I was about to say, boy, your drink's so versatile, you should maybe focus on a specific occasion. And that's about the time you said you were zeroing in on the dinner party. So you beat me to that. You had to run through the presentation a little bit fast. Could you kind of just highlight some of the revenue and margin numbers for me from a top line, where you are, where you're going?
Sure, we're projected to do a little under $800,000 this year. That would put us on track to be profitable in Q1 of next year. Our margins are diverse. We zero in on about a 55% average, but we have wild swings from 72% to 38%, 85% in the UK. This is because of the different tier levels that we're at in different regional markets. So in the US, with our direct consumer outfit, we have a margin of 72%, whereas in the UK, we'll have a margin of about 85%. That's because we're playing in the premium and super premium category, and we don't have direct competitors. We don't really have anyone giving us any downward pricing pressure. So we've kept our margins pretty high in our luxury positioning, which has been relatively helpful.
What's a bottle retail for in Miami?
$68.77 on shelves. In Miami, our program was focused on-premise, so we partnered with a lot of hospitality companies, and we're on a number of really interesting menus. Going forward, though, we're going to begin on off-premise strategy that will be with BevStrat and the team at InvestBev.
Okay, great. Yeah, it is good timing. The chartreuse monks are spending less time creating liqueurs and
good for them.
You and the nuns or the noonies or whatever, that you guys are stepping up your game. So I like it. Where do you produce this on the island, or where do you produce it? How's the supply chain?
Yeah, by regional protection, we have to produce everything on the island. Currently, we source every ingredient from the island. We consider that a selling point, though it is not part of the protection we can source from other parts of the island, as long as we distill and we macerate on the island. Our supply chain is relatively robust. We don't really have a major upward boundary in terms of what we can produce in a year, because it's all, while the recipe is secret, it is readily available herbs, spices, and fruits. And we're looking to produce 100,000 liters next year. So we don't really have a challenge there. Now with the pandemic ending, port backlogs are pretty simple. We have our third batch on a boat right now. It arrived in about 2 weeks, whereas during the pandemic, it took about 4 months. So that was terrible. But now we seem to be back to a relatively consistent shipping frame rate.
Okay, excellent. Last question, or one of the next questions I had is, what's your goal for the business? Why'd you create this? And what's the longer term vision? What's success look like for you?
I love this industry. It's been super fun meeting everybody. My background is in nightlife. I sold my first company to Live Nation in 2012. And so I love working on this product. My ambition is to have a liquidity event in the next 5 years, whether that's a PE that would allow me to stay in charge and continue to follow this profession, or maybe build a bigger portfolio, or maybe it's an exit once we surpass that 100,000 case mark.
Yeah, no, that's great. And what are your biggest challenges?
Yeah, I think like I said, the logistics was a major challenge. Glass backlogs continue to be a challenge. Direct to consumer, I really feel that we've cracked the nut on. Our direct to consumer margins are, we're doing it profitably on a regular basis. So I would be looking for people to help me as operators. A little redundancy at the distillery, because it's a secret recipe. It's very tightly held, and I think that we would benefit from adding 1 or 2 team members there. And logistics, operations, that type of thing are really where my weaknesses lie, my personal weakness and our team weaknesses.
That's great. When you do direct to consumer, do you have a retail partner in Washington, D.C., or how do you do the U.S. D2C business?
We ship from 3 different states. I have tried, because I have such a strong background in direct to consumer, I've used every single one of the alcohol shipping fulfillment programs. I've settled on a relatively unknown program, and we integrated it into our Shopify. So we ship from California, New Jersey, and Florida, and that covers about 41 states.
Great. Yeah, good coverage. You answered all my questions, so I think we're right about on time, but awesome job, Paul.
Thanks a lot.
Perfect timing. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, both Pauls. Okay. And with that, we're going to move forward to number 4, which is Jason McAlpin. And Michael will promote Jason, and we'll get started with Jason as soon as he's on board and has his
on his way
presentation. There's Jason.
And screen, there we go. All right.
All right, Jason, you're on.
All right, let me see if I can share my screen. All right, how's that look?
You see it.
All right, so Paul, you got the chance to see BevNet, so I'm not going to go through this kind of the point by point that I did. I'm going to skip past the front a little bit and spend some more time in some of the more execution, what we're going to do. But for the most part, I'll show you 3 things. One is that there's a consumer who's frustrated with not getting the benefits and having those benefits come along with sugar and juices and artificial stuff, right? 2, that there's a large premium sparkling water category that hasn't evolved since basically the 1800s that we're going to attack, right? And then 3, there's a Black and brown disadvantaged kid living in poverty that we're going to spend a lot of time and money trying to help kind of overcome that through education. All right, so let's dive right in. So I talked a lot about this healthy-ish millennial. That's really me, right? Someone who wants to be healthy but struggles, never has enough time, right? The trade-offs of energy, convenience, taste, those are the barriers to truly kind of achieving their healthier ambitions. And they like sparkling water, right? But they're frustrated, they want more. So the 4 things they want in their sparkling water is keep it as a water, free of non-water stuff, right? Sugars and sweeteners and juices and earthiness, right? Add in trusted functionality that can seamlessly help the body and mind, give it a bolder yet refreshing flavor, and don't have it break the bank. So let's see what the category looks like when you take those 4 things to the market. And the first 2 categories, mainstream and premium, True waters, no functionality, very light flavor, if any at all. And then the category jumps into functional beverages. So think kombucha soda, CBD waters, right? Energy drinks. And these are almost always sweetened. They have sugars and juices. They have things you kind of maybe hard to even pronounce. And so if you're like me, you're looking for those four things, where do you turn? That's the opportunity in the market. And this is where I see Deo playing. And this is Deo. Simply, it's a sparkling water with some added good stuff so you can keep doing you. Oops. And here's a full lineup. Now, as a reminder, we're only going to launch with the first four you see on the screen. I just like to show future innovation, how things can keep expanding into beauty and relaxation, etc. But we'll start with wellness. It has zinc and vitamin C and a strawberry elderflower flavor. Gut health is called Balance. It's got probiotics and a citrus hibiscus flavor. White peach yuzu is for the mind. It's got caffeine to give you a little bit of a spark, but L-theanine to help you focus and without the jitters and the crash. And then lastly, sports drink level electrolytes and more refreshing, lighter flavor and melon lemongrass. But across all, custom resealable glass bottles, suggested retail at $2.99. That'll kind of go up and down depending on the channel, which I'll talk about in a little bit. All GRAS certified, FDA proven ingredients, 100% natural, non-GMO. And it's like, I kind of say to people, it's a sparkling water. And so as you go about saying, hey, I want great refreshment water, the only other question is, do you want to seamlessly boost your immune system at the same time, or your gut health at the same time, or help you focus? That's the idea, to be a true water. And that's important because I see it sitting in the premium sparkling water set. And Paul, you know, you got to have a destination in retail, a scaled destination in retail. And it's an attractive set to be in. In and of itself is a $2 billion a year set that's still growing, but it's a high velocity, high foot traffic set. And it's a set dominated by 3 or 4 brands that have been around literally since the 1800s and are largely unchanged except for a little flavor innovation here or there. And so Deo fits into this set, right? It's a clear, true, unsweetened water, premium price, but that functionality expands that set, brings in new shoppers, helps increase the productivity, an important retail story here as well. And then one thing that's important to me is all about education. So the unfortunate reality, 1/3 of Black kids, 1/4 of Hispanic kids born into poverty, below the poverty line, which means there's a 70% chance they'll forever remain there. Early grade school education is critical to overcoming that. So Deo will partner with the donated charities that do just that. And for me, that's also really important. So I like to think of kind of building the next round of, minority owned founders. And the other stat that keeps me up is that out of total beverages, alcohol and non-alcohol, about 0.5% are Black owned, despite being 13% of the population. About 1% of publicly known fund and capital raised within the industry goes to Black founders. This also helps to kind of change that dynamic, increase representation within this industry and within this category. So as you know, Paul, we haven't launched yet. I'll say that the proof points along the way have been really encouraging consumer-wise. 89% person intent, a tremendous amount of value that people see in the bottle, assumed price of $4 or more, right? Taste-wise, outperform the closest flavor competition in the market. And then I've used my network. I've gotten in front of buyers. I've gone door to door in Atlanta even. And the thing that's been interesting, yes, is there's been a tremendous amount of retailer receptivity to the idea, but it's across channels as well. So yes, grocery and natural, but also coffees and hotels and boutique gyms, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of channel scale around this idea as well. And so if you remember in BevNet, I gave a quick summary of how we're planning on launching. I want to click down just a little bit. And so this is kind of a 3-year, if you consider we're launching Q4 of this year. So kind of combining that with next year and then 25 and 26. But the strategy is to let the bottle be the hero, drive discovery, let that bring you to shelf and elicit that trial. So we'll start in Atlanta and Southeast. We'll prioritize grocery markets, natural and on-premise. So again, coffee shops, restaurants, et cetera, and then deliver through distributor and direct. And then we'll start to build, driving a capital efficient plan to begin with, but then we'll start to build. You start to build to the Northeast. You then start to bring on mass and drug. You then start to bring on like DSD partners as well. So it's a little bit of a phased approach to start to get some of those larger national distribution until you get into year 3 and year 4. And of course, from a marketing perspective, given my background and some folks I've had on the team, this is really where I think Deo can have a lot of fun, brand and partnerships, lifestyle distribution. It can go in a lot of different ways to surround the healthiest millennial. And then the financials. And so if you project that over the next 5 years, what I expect is, of course, a year 1 being a partial year, but you grow that to be upwards of $38 million in net revenue by that year 5. You can kind of see the EBITDA going positive in that year 5, making sure you account for the necessary trade at about 20%, the necessary cost structure that comes along with delivering to distributors, et cetera, et cetera. We're raising about $500,000 that will enable the launch, that will enable bringing on some of the key services needed, mainly sales and operations, and of course, allowing to build that, that community as well. And then the last thing I'll say is that, of course, this is not necessarily built for the exit, but you always want to make sure as you bring on investment, that's an acquisition exit friendly. And that's kind of how I built it, to ensure that it's within an attractive category. It's got scale potential in the idea and across channels and geographies. There's an ease of manufacturing, and it's regulatorily green as well.
All right, Jason, thank you so much. And now I'm going to turn it over to Paul to let him have his 5 minutes of questions. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
Jason, thanks for getting me over some samples of both the liquid and the bottles. The bottle is absolutely beautiful. It's going to sit so well on shelf or on the back bar somewhere, on a menu in a photo. Great job. And I like the tone of voice too. It's a little whimsical, fun. It's not like, you know, it's just unique. And the flavors are great. You sent 4 flavors, wide appeal. So I think, given your background, marketing specifically in the water space and your command, you got a lot going for you. How do you, some of the growth projections look pretty big, and maybe that's just the nature of getting into a very big category. But what do you think your margin structure is going to look like, and what would a bottle cost if I picked it up, you know, a single bottle at a Publix or a Quick Trip or something?
Yeah, I'll answer the second one first. And so if you're at a Publix, you know, what'll be listed is $2.99, but you'll see it on deal 2 for $5 or discount even further, kind of depending. And so if you look at the average weighted retail, you're probably looking at around $2.70 to $2.75, depending on kind of whether it's on deal and the number of weeks. And then from a margin perspective, you know, using my network and having a lot of great advisors around me, some of which I'm sure you know as well, have spent time in the drink industry. We've squeezed it quite a bit. So we've got about a 31% margin for that first production run. And then you'll see us quickly start to expand that as we look at doing other things, like going from a silk screen to like a pressure sensitive label, for example, after year 3, gives you about 11 points of margin. And so we know within the water category, there's that path to get to 55, 60% margin fairly easily, even accounting for distributor margin, retailer margin, et cetera.
Okay. And what are some of your biggest challenges you view, not so much historically, but as you look forward the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, well, I mean, the reality is that this is not a cheap category, right? So there is trade, there are, especially if you go with the distributors, there are certain build backs, there are kind of a little bit of a pay for play that you have to have. And so I think having the necessary trade dollars to be able to get into those accounts, I think is going to be really critical. And then also building the community around Deo. And I think the bottle becomes such an important hero. And so that's going to do a lot of heavy lifting with us, but getting in front of the right people and start to build that online community with that following that can come with you. And the other reason why we're launching in Atlanta, for example, is that, you know, Georgia has the 3rd highest Black purchasing power in the US, being a Black founder, and see that starts to help you build a bit of that you can start to kind of build upon later. So it's really a combination of the retailer necessities in terms of the funding, but also making sure that you have the necessary dollars to build that community and grow with over time.
Yeah, awesome. I love the cause and the impact and kind of the vision you had for the brand and the culture, what you're doing. So thanks a lot, Jason. Awesome stuff.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul.
Right. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Paul. We are actually a little bit ahead of schedule here. So we are going to bring Stephanie Kriebel forward. Stephanie is OMG Pretzels.
On her way.
Michael's got her on her way. Again, our thanks to Paul for being part of this and doing an excellent job asking questions of these brands. There's Stephanie. Hopefully we can see her picture and hear her pretty soon. There you are, Stephanie. All right. I'm going to turn it over to you.
I'm trying to.
Your 7 minutes will start when your screen share.
Great. Okay. 1 second, please. Okay. There we are.
Yep. You're ready to go.
Okay. I'm ready. Yeah. Yeah. Hi, Paul. Oh, sorry. Went too fast. Hi, Paul. I'm Stephanie Kriebel, CEO and co-founder of OMG Pretzels. It's great to see you again. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share our brand story with you here today. Our story actually started decades before OMG Pretzels ever came to market. Growing up, our mom wanted us to have a great tasting, healthier for you snack. So she started making these awesome garlic seasoned sourdough pretzel nuggets for us to eat after school. And soon after, she started serving them at family gatherings and taking them as elegant, entertaining gifts for her friends. And it wasn't long before people started asking her where they could buy them. A few years later, OMG Pretzels was finally born, 2 pans at a time, right in Mom's kitchen at our headquarters in Plymouth Meeting, Pennsylvania. As we have grown over the years, going from Mom's kitchen to a commercial kitchen, we have had amazing teams of women and family members helping us along the way. Then in 2019, I took over the CEO role, and in 2020, we partnered with our first co-packer. Since then, through retailer and distribution partnerships, we have grown from a local and regional company to a nationwide brand, expanding our product line in 2020 to 8 unique culinary and family memory inspired flavors. For example, our sweet and salty flavor, which tastes like cinnamon sugar, was created in honor of my grandfather, who, when we were growing up, would come over to our house every day before school to eat cinnamon sugar toast and play cards, which is actually how my siblings and I learned to do math. Our Chesapeake spice flavor is reminiscent of the times that we were spent at the beach growing up, and our salty butterscotch flavor is reminiscent of those creamy brown butterscotch candies that Grandma used to give us as kids. Plus, in elevating our entire product line, 7 of our 9 flavors are now non-GMO. Our complete line is kosher. We have vegan and vegetarian options, all with our better for you sourdough nugget with the crave-worthy crunch and mouth-watering taste that will keep you coming back for more. It's no accident how we came up with our brand name, which came out of all of the authentic, oh my God expressions whenever people popped our pretzels in their mouths. So why is this investment special, and how will it benefit you, Paul? The pretzel category alone has seen a steady increase in sales over the past 2 years, from $1.25 billion in 2021 to $1.7 billion in 2022. Projections for the next 5 years estimate that this category alone will see continuous growth, more than doubling in size to $2.1 billion, with innovation in flavored pretzels leading the way. In fact, the Snack World 2023 State of the Industry report says that consumer appetite for flavored pretzels will continue to grow despite inflation and flavored pretzels being high ticket items. Consumers just keep eating them up without signs of slowing down. And there is plenty of opportunity for innovation. As a first mover in the premium seasoned pretzel space, we are the only seasoned sourdough nugget on the market. And we are excited to say that we just earned the number 7 spot on the Delish 31 Best Road Trip Snacks for 2023. With our current footprint across the US and our outstanding ratings with consumers, we are poised as a proud women-owned, made in the USA product to take on the big players in the market as the pinnacle of pretzels. In the past 6 months alone, through our B2B email marketing efforts, we have increased our conversion rate from 10.5 to 15%. Also, our performance at local events, where we are taking advantage of the opportunity to get our pretzels into mouths and create new fans, we average $800 to $1,000 in sales in just a few hours. From a trade show perspective, we are strategically exhibiting at regional gift shows across the US, which align well with our premium and specialty brand and provide us the opportunity to be among a handful or less of food brands exhibiting at these types of shows, if not the only one. For example, in February of this year, we exhibited at the Philadelphia Gift Show, where we were the only snack brand. We had a line around the corner of people waiting to taste our pretzels, and word spread like wildfire. To this day, we are still benefiting with new customers each week. that we met at this show. With our elevated look, taste, and crunch, we expect an exponential increase in sales starting in Q4 this year and continuing well into 2023 and 2024, anticipating that we will reach $650,000 in sales by the end of this year and passing the $1 million mark in sales by the end of next year. As such, we are seeking $300K in growth capital to help support us in this stage of our growth. And here's how your investment, Paul, will help to support this process. With our new co-packer, we have higher MOQs and will be increasing our production to meet projected demand, as well as adding a single-serve bag to our line. Additionally, our goal is to increase our e-commerce business, so we have brought on strategic partners to help us improve and develop our overall sales strategy, as well as reinvent our D2C strategy to grow economies of scale. And of course, we will require investment in logistics as we find fulfillment partners to support our overall increase in D2C and B2B sales. So, Paul, we invite you to join our many ways to pretzel movement for scrumptious standalone snacking, memory making, and elegant entertaining, just like Mom did all those years ago. OMG pretzels. Once you pop one in your mouth, OMG comes popping out.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Paul, you're up.
Awesome. Stephanie, thanks. It's great to connect with you. I know we had a chance to connect on a Brandjectory meeting a week or two ago. So this has been a great follow-up. And I don't remember, I think you mentioned it briefly and you told me before, but what are your annual revenues, like backward looking and maybe for this year?
Yeah, so backward looking, we were profitable. We've been profitable every year in business up until last year where we had a bit of a dip. And a lot of it, I think, had to do with we were just below the 500,000 mark. And a lot of it, I think, had to do with our, we had to do increase in price because of increases in our pricing of our cost of goods. And so this year, we kind of are, since we've been transitioning from one co-packer to the other and trying to manage inventory in that process, we've been challenged a little bit by that, trying not to run out of trying to keep enough raw materials in place to have enough inventory to get through this transition with our new co-packer that has started in July of last year. So it's been a long process. And in the meantime, the timeline kind of got pushed and pushed and pushed a little bit, but we're finally in our first production run with this co-packer, and we'll have our new product line in the market by the end of August.
Okay, well, great. And so I think your pretzels are delicious. And I love each of them are good in their own way, whether you're a sweet or savory person. Really elevated experience. I think your channel approach that you described before really makes a lot of sense. And your new packaging looks fantastic. I hadn't seen that before, but I think sometimes a product window is nice, but you've got so many seasonings that kind of get caught on the window. I think what you've done is a really nice upgrade. So great work on that front.
Thank you.
How many people are on your team, either directly and or kind of on a contract or partial basis?
Right. So we like to say we are a women-owned business made up of women-owned businesses. We have 2 people on our marketing team. We have a salesperson on our team, and we just hired a new e-commerce person to be on our team. Plus, we have a CFO team. Plus, it's Mom and myself and Dad.
No, I love that. I love the family, you and your mother,
so
and then, and then the way that you're kind of modeling and being a great, role model for other people that are looking to do that and see people that maybe look more like themselves. So awesome.
Yeah, we're pretty scrappy.
Yeah. Who do you feel would be maybe your biggest threat in the next 6 to 12 months out there in terms of road trip snacks or salty snacks, things like that, even beyond the pretzel category? Who do you look at and say, like, that's somebody we should keep an eye on, or they're doing a nice job?
I think the popcorn is amazing. The number of different varieties and how upscale popcorn has become. And, just the high price point. So, we're a high priced product. We sell for $9 to $12 a bag. And so we are at that premium category level with regard to our pricing. And so popcorn is one, because popcorn is, you know, a snack that people like to eat in, you know, say at the movie theaters, things like that. And those are the kind of retailers we're targeting. The kind of retail partners that we're targeting is those alternate channel places where people want a nice premium kind of luxury snack that, you know, will satisfy their cravings while they're watching a movie, for example.
Yeah, oh, it sounds great. And like I've asked some of the other founders and CEOs, what's the dream? What's the vision for the company? What is success like for you 3, 5, 10 years out?
And that's easy. So within the next 10 years, I would like to grow the company so that it is acquired because, as I said, my mom is my partner. My dad is heavily involved in the business. And, you know, I just think that being acquired would be like the icing on their life cake. And so that's my goal.
Great. Awesome. Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I really enjoyed snacking. I'm still snacking on your products, and
Thank you.
you've done a great job.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you, Stephanie. Paul, thank you for this. Michael and Paul are going to go off, and Paul's going to deliberate. If he has any questions, Michael will be there to answer them. I'm going to speak for about 5 minutes on Brandjectory, and we'll go from there. So Paul and Michael, thank you so much. Thank you to each and every one of our members who had the chance to present to Paul. And guys, if you're going to go off screen, mute or
one second. So Paul, let's mute video and sound, and I'll see you over on the Google Meet.
Okay. I'm not sure if I know how to get to that Google Meet. Did you send me an email or something earlier?
It's you have an invite. Yep.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Okay, guys, we'll see you in a few minutes. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for being here. To our Brandjectory members, welcome. To those who don't know about Brandjectory, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it for just a few minutes here while they deliberate. And again, thank you to Paul, thank you to Michael and Susan, my co-founders, and to the 5 brands that had a chance to pitch here today. Brandjectory is a platform where we try to expose the brands that are members to investors and industry experts, to connect with them, learn from them, hear from them, work with them, and really get directly involved with them. We do that in a number of ways. First, we have a platform that allows a brand to present themselves more in a social media type manner, but with all the good information that investors want to see about a brand. We consult with you for an hour on that. And then when you are finished with that, we turn you live to be exposed to investors, to work with them, talk with them, reach out to them. They can find you, they can reach out. The way Paul found the 5 brands today was he gladly went through the platform and selected 5 brands that he wanted to hear more from. And that's how we do the rocket fuel. We have the opportunity, once you've had your BPR, and as soon as you join Brandjectory, you can list your raise that goes out to 700 investors. You can participate in all of our meetings, which include a founder investor meetup once a month, where investors, they present a topic that they think is important. It could be a very technical topic like dilution or valuation. They can talk about cash flow or P&L, but it also hits on some of the softer aspects of building your business, your team dynamics, what they look for in brands that are going to market well. What's the messaging? Is the messaging connecting? We talk about that for a half hour, and then we break into small groups where there may be 1 or 2 investors, 3 or 4 brands. They get a chance to communicate, talk, share contacts. What we love to hear is, hey, that investor is going to introduce me to somebody, or he wants to talk more, or she wants to talk more. That's what's very exciting about those meetups. But we have a lot of other things that brands can participate in. We have the spacewalk, which is practice pitch sessions, where a brand goes one-on-one with it for an investor, 7 minutes of pitch, 7 minutes of feedback. These sessions are highly prized. We can only do them a couple times a month. 5 brands meet with an investor one-on-one. It's exciting, and the brands that have participated have gotten great feedback from really concerned and interested investors. We have obviously the rocket fuel, as we just talked about. We have the Space Chatter, which is a monthly founder-only forum where the founders exchange contacts, they exchange knowledge, experience, problem solve together. Again, we usually have 15, 20 brands on that at a time. We do that once a month. And if there's a lot of questions about a certain topic, we'll find someone that can answer those. We've brought in people from food service, we've brought in distributors, we've brought in brokers. So we try to do that to make sure that they get great information and can ask their questions directly from a person of knowledge. We provide one-on-one consulting on your debt finance options with a finance expert, a debt finance expert who's one of our partners. We also have a classroom setting, which we call Space Lab, around the capital raise process. Everything you need to know about capital raise, you can ask questions, you can pose situations, talk about how much you want to raise and are you have the right valuation and what's the right vehicle and is the vehicle set right for that. And we try to get as many answers as possible, many of those questions answered as possible in that hour session with a capital planning expert. We also have a unique platform that's called the Orbit. The Orbit is mentoring and coaching with industry investors and experts. We have about 25 to 30 investors on there, about another 30 to 35 industry experts. It's just like attending your office hours with your college professor. You go in the door and you write write your question in and what time you want to meet with that professor. But it's the same sort of thing. We have experts in there, not just investing, but accounting, capital planning, strategy, marketing, messaging, branding, design, legal, accounting, packaging, operations. All those folks are part of our mentor program, and every Brandjectory member has a chance to meet with a mentor like that twice a month. That means as a Brandjectory member on a full year subscription, you'll have 24 opportunities to speak with industry experts, find out more, and if you need more interaction with them, then the possibility of doing work with them with their company or them personally. And finally, we have a knowledge base. It's highly acclaimed. Folks like Bob Burke and Bruce Nuremberg have said our knowledge base is one of the best things that a brand or even an angel investor who's new to the CPG industry can use to really understand how CPG works. In the knowledge base, we have over 250 articles, most of which we've written. We've asked our partners to contribute, especially when it comes to things like legal, deeper accounting issues, tax issues, things like that. But the articles really focus on what an investor wants to know about your business. What does it mean to build a business that an investor would be interested in, or that where you can actually have a strong enough business that you can get debt financing. These are the kinds of things that we really want to make sure brands are aware of. Our whole thing is about growth of that brand totally, not just from an investment perspective, but to give you all kinds of options to meet with people. Once a month, we hold an educational webinar that's open to everyone. We have one tomorrow on food service. We have 3 experts from the food service industry who are going to be speaking to brands. If you're not a Brandjectory member, you're free to join that one. You can find it on our LinkedIn or on our website. And it's really a great opportunity to hear from experts like that. We've had Whole Foods in there.
I'm back in.
And we've had a ton of other folks with different, we've had marketing folks. We've had how to build your brand, how to message. We're going to have one coming up on marketing psychology. All these things are important that a brand knows to really complete the perspective of how well you go to market. So these are the things that Brandjectory offers, and Michael and Paul are back. Michael, shall we promote all of the founders so that they're on screen for Paul's announcement of who we'd like to continue the conversation with?
Sounds good. In the process of doing that, Paul, do you want to get started while they're coming on?
Sure. Yeah, I think everybody can hear me. So first of all, Michael and Susan and Tom, thanks for having me. I've been part of Brandjectory for, I think, about a year, and I really found it to be a great community where founders can reach out, meet people, learn, collaborate. There's a lot of resources here that are really good. And I think it's a great value. It's a great value. I work with a lot of founders, and other people are finding the same thing. I would say in terms of, I thought all the founders did a really nice job in their own way, and have exciting business opportunities. They're building some strong brands. They've got good teams around them. Some great packaging. The Deo packaging is some of the best, most attractive, beautiful packaging I've seen in many years. I think the pretzel category is exciting. The sparkling teas were probably the biggest surprise I had. The powders is certainly exciting. High growth category, plays really well the e-com. So the pretzels, pretzels and the Embolden are really companies that are starting to get some revenue traction. But I tried to think of what areas I thought had great potential and match that up with where I could add some value besides just writing a check. So if I chose one, it doesn't mean that it's a better company. It just might be a spot where I can fit in better based on my background and my network and my connections. And the company I'd like to talk to and move forward with is Paul at Boss. I'd like to talk to him and kind of see what we can work out, see if there's ways we can work together and help move the business forward. I was asked to select one, but I think there's a few on the phone that I'd like to stay in touch with and see if there's ways. I'm a little bit more hesitant on the pre-revenue companies. Based on my investment thesis, I don't avoid it altogether, but it just makes it one extra barrier. And so for Jason and Samari, that'd be a little bit of a disadvantage for you guys coming into it, but by no means anything lacking from any of the businesses. So any Michael or Tom, Susan, any questions or direction for me?
Thank you, Paul. Paul Geller, any comments?
Well, I mean, obviously, thank you. I just wanted to express like how impressed I was with everybody on this call. I thought all of the brands were really just beautifully designed, and I'll be a customer of basically every single one of them. So, I mean, I'm very gratified for being chosen. I'm looking forward to working with Paul, but I'm also looking forward to keeping on top of the rest of the companies as well, because I think they're all very interesting and very exciting.
How about Jason, Stephanie, Kyle, Samari? Would you like to provide any comments? Stephanie?
Sure. Thanks so much for this opportunity, Paul, and also Brandjectory team. It's just really good to get out there and pitch and talk about the company. It's been up until the end of 2021, I was actually working full time in addition to running this business. So now it's been kind of, just let's go kind of thing. And this is our first pitch. And so just really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. Hope we can stay in touch, Paul.
For sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, to chime in too. Thank you guys so much. I completely agree with both Paul's. Everybody's products and designs and just everything you guys are working on is fantastic. So I thank you so much for the opportunity. And Paul, yeah, I just look forward to keeping in touch.
Sure.
Likewise, congrats, Paul and Tom and Michael. Appreciate the opportunity. Great group of brands. Smart people running everything, and so this was fun to be a part of. This was fun to watch, and look forward to watching everybody's journey.
Yeah, agreed. And I would request it, let's all stay connected, all the founders and Paul, of course, yourself, but a lot of learnings as we're, more or less in some earlier stage companies. So I'm sure we've got some fun sharings, or just to commiserate over some great boss as well would be a long day. So no, actually, guys, thanks for the opportunity.
I'm sorry, I was remiss in congratulating Paul. Congratulations, Paul, on your win.
Totally unnecessary. I'm super. I can't wait to get my hands on everybody's products. I'm like, also Samari, I'm going to be like your biggest customer. I can't wait.
Awesome.
Hey, everybody. Tom, you want to close us out?
I just want to thank everybody for being here. This was our first Rocket Fuel. We intend to do these on a regular basis, so look for them. This video will be available on LinkedIn in a bit, and we're just excited to continue to offer these kinds of opportunities. Congratulations to Paul Geller. Congratulations to all of the brands who spoke here today, and very special thanks to Paul Beaupre for being our, I guess, guinea pig in the hot seat here in the rocket fuel capsule. So we thank Paul a lot. That's it, and we appreciate the time. And my God, we stayed right on time today. That's really exciting. So
thanks for having me, Tom. And hopefully you didn't offend any guinea pigs with that statement.
All right,
thank
everybody.
you, everyone.
Be well.
Take care.
Congratulations.
Bye-bye. Thanks, everybody.